Welcome back into the Baptist Catholic Show. This week we're starting something different, a recurring series.
Sounds interesting.
Oh yeah. All right, welcome back, guys. And as we said at the beginning, we are starting a recurring series. So what that means is we're not going to do a series that's like 5 episodes in a row and then boom, it's done forever.
Yeah.
But maybe once a month or something like that. We'll see.
When we feel like it.
Yeah, whenever we get around
We're
to
not
it.
super awesome on consistency. I don't know if you've noticed. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
We don't want to talk about it any more than that. 2021 different. 2021 different. Okay, so remember 2020 vision? 2021 vision. Okay, so
would that be better or worse?
I don't really know.
Anyway.
I'm not an optometrist. Not much of anything. So, as you all know, because you're ardent fans, the Baptist Catholic Show is the show where we explain the what and the how of Catholicism with Baptist fervor, right? We used to be Baptist, now we're Catholic, it's our thing. That's right. We are the people who make cradle Catholics nervous with our zeal, and we also make non-Catholics nervous with our Hail Marys. So
it's funny that you said that. A friend of mine is cradle Catholic, and she was asking for music suggestions for like contemporary Christian music. She was like, "Be gentle, please."
Be gentle.
She's like, "I'm raised Catholic and from the Northeast."
Yeah.
Like, take it easy.
Hallelujah. Yep. Holy Spirit reign. You didn't know that, like,
Oh,
anybody,
Lord.
some people are with me. Some people are listening to this like, I know exactly what you're talking about. We used to get down to some of that. Now, looking back, we're kind of like, it's a little cheesy, a little bit over the top.
But I kind of like it.
But I kind of like it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of hits the spot sometimes.
And yes, that song maybe heads towards Cheeseville. But I will take a night at the local Baptist church for praise and worship night. They do that every once in a while. Ooh,
Yeah.
it hits the spot.
It's your spot, spiritual spot. So speaking of non-Catholics, so we make them nervous with our Hail Marys. I came up with that joke. I ran it by Erin. She was like, "Are you going to say all that?" I was like, yeah, I thought it was clever. I thought it was a clever joke. But apparently not. Write us, and tell us. Write us? Are people going to get like a postage stamp? It has been a fortnight since I listened to your latest episode. Dear Baptist Catholic Show. Send us a message. Okay? Let me know that my stuff is funny, or else I don't know, I might cry.
Please tell them it's not.
So anyway, the people that we make nervous with our Hail Marys, the non-Catholics, that's who we're going to be talking about and addressing in this recurring series, which is just going to be splattered throughout, kind of sporadic throughout this year and maybe going forward. Just depends on what you like. If you don't like it, we won't do it anymore because this is all about you. Anyway, so what we're doing, essentially, I send out a survey. Speaking about zeal that makes cradle Catholics nervous.
It makes everybody a little bit uncomfortable. Actually, I'm just going to put it out there.
Listen, I've tempered it since then. Remember temperance? If those of you with me, it's one of the cardinal virtues. Anyway, so temperance has prevailed on that one, and I'm not as zeally, I don't think. At least
I think there's a word called zealous.
no, I like zeally.
Yeah,
because it's copyright. Anyway, so. But we're going to be your spot. I sent out a little survey. It was an informal survey. I made it up on Google Forms. Okay, I didn't find it. I don't know why. I just thought I needed to recreate the wheel. But anyway, and I literally found people in my friends list that I knew were not Catholic.
On Facebook.
And I sent them, and some of them, maybe one or two were listening. Like, yeah, I remember that. That was annoying. Anyway, I sent them this little survey. It was just titled Catholicism. Real creative with the title.
Send it to our neighbors. Send it to
anybody I could find who I thought was non-Catholic. Okay, so I sent it to them, and we'll go over some of the questions.
Talk about uncomfortable.
I don't care. Okay, I just don't care. Right. So I sent that out, and I got 37 responses, which I thought maybe get 5. So I was really kind of excited that I got that many. So we're going to break down
How many people did you invite to it, though? I'd say over 100 at
Who
least.
knows? Yeah, I wasn't, but I was expecting everybody to ignore it and kind of, so-and-so has left the group. I was waiting for that message from all of them. But they didn't. 37 people stuck with it. They answered my survey. So this is an anecdotal thing. This isn't like a Pew Research thing. This is 37 people on my friends list. But I thought some of the responses were interesting. And I've heard these before, and so there are recurring themes that I've at least heard amongst non-Catholics about their relationship with Catholicism, maybe their lack of relationship with Catholicism. And I thought it'd be a good thing for us to discuss on the podcast in ways that we can meet the needs or answer the questions or criticisms of those non-Catholics. So that's what we're going to be talking about. And today I thought what we do is kind of go over, I had 2 parts of the survey. First few questions were multiple choice. Then the bottom half were open-ended questions. Some people left not applicable, just left it blank. But most people, I think, or a good chunk anyway, wrote, why I'm not Catholic, what you would ask a Catholic, right?
Yeah.
And so we'll be going over those and responding to a few of those throughout this recurring series. But today I thought we'd look at the stats. What are the stats and what are the questions that I asked? So we're going to focus on the statistics. The first question I asked is, are you a Christian? Are you a Christian? So just to give you the breakdown, 91.9% yes. And
which already shows you, it's a little skewed, not Catholic, but identified as Christian.
Yeah, just Christian in general. So that includes if you think you're a Catholic and Christian, just in general. And then 8.1%
but you sent this to non-Catholics. So
yeah, exactly right. It was a targeted group. You're right. So, of course, I did kind of share it to a broader group later. But anyway, which denomination, if any, do you identify with? This is interesting, and I won't give you the breakdowns on all this, but just to give you one person put anarchist, and I'm not sure if that was serious or if that was just kind of a joke, because
I think it was serious.
It might have been. I had one.
But now I'm trying to figure out who on the friends list.
It's the anarchist. Yeah. Baptist. So I had a myriad of Baptists, which I was expecting. So some person said missionary Baptist, Reformed Baptist, Southern Baptist, which is more general, and then just Baptist, right? It's mattered throughout that. Do you want to say it? This is a tangent, sorry. But the other night in a group that we're in, a cradle Catholic gentleman who we really respect and love was talking about some of the folks that he had met who were coming into the church, right? Mm-hmm. Coming into the church, and he was naming off the different Baptists, Southern Baptist and Reformed Baptist and Mountain Baptist, and I was like, whoa, that's a new branch.
I looked at Casey, I said, I think he's talking about Pentecostals.
So, anyway, we like that. Now, I'm going to self-identify as a Mountain Baptist. I like that.
I like that a lot.
So, the Assembly of God, we're on there. Just kind of in general Christian, Episcopalian, non-denominational, Methodist, and there was a category that said just none. Yeah. Which, So, then I asked, in your opinion, are Catholics Christians? 72.2% said yes. 27.8% said I don't know, and then no one said no. Yeah. That was interesting. We'll get back to the ones that struck us as interesting in just a second. Have you ever been invited to the Catholic Church or some other Catholic event by someone else? 75.7% said yes. 24.3% said no.
Did you invite all of them to something along with this survey?
Trick question. I'm inviting you. Come to the Catholic Church. Anyway, so that was that one. Have you ever? Sorry, just said that one. Would you ever consider becoming Catholic? 8.1% yes. 62.2% no. 29.7% maybe. That was interesting. And then, so those are the multiple choice questions that I asked, and then there was 2 other questions, and those were the more open-ended questions that we'll get into in future episodes. But just a couple that stood out to me, and I'll let Erin maybe chime in here if she's got one. But are Catholics Christian? 27.8% I don't know. Now, granted, this is not a huge testing population, so 27.8% isn't that many people. But it is still kind of interesting. 27.8% I don't know. Okay, in the modern age, right, when we have all this technology at our disposal, right, there are still people on our friends list who aren't sure. And I thought that was true for us.
Yeah.
At least for me. I mean, I don't think I would have said they're not Catholic at all, although there are people who do that.
Not Christian.
Sorry, not Christian at all. Catholics aren't Christian at all. But I'm not sure. They're doing some weird stuff over there with Mary and the Pope. I don't know.
That's what I find more interesting about that statistic is that nobody said no, that they're not Christian.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, it is a good thing, but maybe it shows that in our society we don't like to put a label on, oh no, definitely not something, you know?
Yeah. Which you could see
maybe
a few different ways. Yeah, you could see that a few different ways. You could see it as a danger. I'm hoping that it's a positive sign that we've moved away from some of the anti-Catholic biases in our nation, right?
Yes.
Chick
tracts and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm hoping that's the case. And then the other one that stood out to me is, would you ever consider becoming Catholic? You have 29.7% saying maybe. So you had 27.8% saying I don't know, and then if they're Christians or not, and then 29.7% saying they might consider becoming Catholic.
I'm really liking that 8% that said yes. I think that's probably like 2 people maybe in this, but think about that.
Yeah. You got some people.
That's somebody that's like, yeah, I'd do it. Talk to me about it more.
Exactly. Because I think we automatically are of the position, well, they would know by now, or they would have become Catholic by now. If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We tell ourselves, I don't need to say anything about this. There have been great saints who have talked about this. We have the Catholic Church, and we have the Catechism of the Catholic Church. It's all over social media, so why do I need to talk to my friends about becoming Catholic? They can figure that out on their own. There's smarter people to do it than me. Incorrect. Mm-hmm. Right? They're literally waiting on you. And I always think about this when we're talking about evangelization and putting it off on somebody else. Mm-hmm. You're right. And I know that this silly podcast, this doinky little podcast, right, dwarfs in comparison to some of the really smart people who are not only smart about the faith, but actually know what they're doing technologically to get this sounding better, right? But I don't care to a degree.
Right.
Like, I know that there are people who would listen to my podcast because they know who Casey Phillips and Aaron Phillips are, that wouldn't listen to Bishop Barron because he's a bishop of the Catholic Church. What does he know? I'm not listening to some collared priest or somebody tell me what to do.
Already biased.
Right, he's already biased. But I know these people. I grew up with these people. I see these people at work. What in the heck are they talking about? And even if they don't agree with you, they might listen. That's my hope.
Yeah.
And that's what excites me about that.
I agree too. Well, and too, talking about like evangelization and being, like somebody else will do it. Listen, Father Mike and Bishop Barron got a lot on their plate. Time for you to step it up, okay?
Take some servings off of their plate, right? Don't just keep piling it on them. Hey, you should listen to their podcast. Well, that's great. But what else do you have? It is
great. And I hear this argument all the time. I don't know everything, so I can't answer all their questions.
That's true because we know everything.
Right. No. Who said you had to?
Exactly.
That's when you say, I don't know. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And I'll come back to you.
It's easy.
Yeah.
In a way. I know it's difficult. Like, I don't want to belittle it. It is awkward and can be challenging. Like, I know that. And I'm the type, too, that wants to have all the answers. And so it's especially humiliating when I don't know something. But guess what? I guess I need to eat crow. That'd be good for my humility. Right?
Yeah.
And go look something up. Literally, there's no other faith on this planet that's more systematized and where you can find the answer quicker than Catholicism.
We have this thing, it's called the Catechism.
Catecismo, right? In Spanish, for those of you listening. So the Catechism of the Catholic Church, grab it. It's not the same as the Bible. It's like my sister, and if you have seen the podcast where we interview her, Skylar, she talked about one of her main questions for me when she was thinking about Catholicism but not sure, is why do you all think your catechism is the same as the Bible, is as important as the Bible? And my one word response, or it's not.
We don't think that.
We don't think that. So anyway. But it is. It's a wealth of information. We have all these documents from popes and councils, and you can find the answer. You just gotta look.
Ask your local priest.
Yeah, come on, people. Come on. So anyway, those are kind of the stats. And I wanted to share with you a quote. This is kind of dipping into that short second half a little bit, but I wanted to pull out one particular line that has, since I have gotten these responses back, has resonated with me in my heart and kind of clanged around in there. And I thought, man. So one quote that stuck out to me, and it does, and I don't want to say this, it fires me up to keep things like this podcast going, even though it's rinky dink and right, is when
he means it's really awesome. Ignore him.
Sorry, this is like, I forgot. Didn't we say last episode that this is like top of the podcast charts?
Yes. I mean, Father Mike's got number 1, but we're there.
We're there. You just have to look really hard and squint and go like this. Anyway.
We have really nice cover art.
We do have nice cover art. So when asked to finish this sentence, okay, I am not Catholic because... One person responded, quote, "The Lord has not led me to the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church has never pursued me evangelistically, and I have always perceived it to be unwelcoming to non-Catholics." Everybody exhale with me, and let's unpack that.
They just threw down
together.
the gauntlet.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And it was so open and honest. I was like, okay, all right. So let's unpack this together. Because I've thought about it a lot over the few years since I've sent this out.
A few years, y'all.
It has been.
He let this sit there and stew.
And stew. Listen, I'm more of a crock pot than I am fast food, right? I got that thing. Growing up, my dad would make this thing called concoction. And it was like a mixture of potatoes and green beans and just random things in there. I'm not sure. He would throw hot sauce. Like, it'd just be a concoction. Yeah, anyway, that's kind of what I am. I just got to simmer. All right. So, one of the parts that stuck out to me is she said, I've never been pursued evangelistically by the Catholic Church. Never pursued. And I thought, where are we? What are we doing? And when I say we, I mean we. Because what is it? You stick one finger out, three fingers sticking back at you.
How many fingers do you have? It's only 4.
Well, and the thumb. And the thumb's pointing to heaven because we should be looking at... Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
I just made that up. So, but seriously though, we cannot continue hiding behind the cassocks of priests and bishops and hoping they will do the job. Okay, and I know I say this all the time on this podcast, but we are the bearers of the good news. Obviously they are, but we are too. And we're not like in a diminished way and in a kind of a simpler way. No.
At baptism, you got those 3 things, right? Prophet, king, priest. Bring it. Like, stop thinking, oh, well, I can't do that. I'm going to let the priest. Oh, wait.
This little light of mine.
Yeah.
I'm going to let it shine. Don't you hide it under a bushel.
Yeah.
Bushel basket, whatever that is.
Who knows what a bushel basket is?
Anyway, it's a basket that holds a bushel of whatever you want it to hold. Anyway, so we have that responsibility. Catechism of the Catholic Church, remember that thing we were talking about? Paragraph 905, quote, lay people, that's us, if you don't know what lay means, it's just regular folk, okay? Lay people also fulfill their prophetic mission by evangelization. So we talk about priests, now we're talking about prophet, okay? Quote, that is the proclamation of Christ by word and testimony of life. For lay people, the evangelization acquires a specific property and particular efficacy, because it is accomplished in the ordinary circumstances of the world. This witness of life, however, is not the sole element in the apostolate. The true apostle is on the lookout for occasions of announcing Christ by word, either to unbelievers or to the faithful.
On the lookout.
On the lookout.
For occasions to announce Christ by word. So, you hear that, like, misquoted.
Yeah, it's not, attributed to him falsely to St. Francis of Assisi.
Yeah.
Was it preach the gospel at all times and when necessary use words or whatever like that?
And St. Francis was out there using words all the time. That's what he was doing, evangelizing,
No,
preaching.
he wasn't. He was just walking with birds and rabbits and stuff. No, he wasn't. Stop that. Like, I know y'all like to buy them statues for your garden, but that's not all he did, okay? Yeah. It was an important part of his ministry, and his life obviously exuded, right, the gospel. But he was also talking to people about Jesus and was on the lookout for opportunities to do so.
Right.
We've got to have both in tandem. I get it. Like, you live your life to where people... But we can't just be like living our lives and just hoping, I hope they think I'm weird. I hope they think I'm weird. I hope they think I'm weird. So they'll ask me. But I'm not going to talk about it otherwise. I'm just going to sit over here and be weird. Okay.
Right.
Okay, I get it.
Which sometimes being weird is the way that you look for the opportunity.
Yeah.
Trust me, do it all the time. But
we have a podcast. That's weird.
Anyway. Well, I mean at work, like I'm.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, like I'm the Catholic, and people are like, so Somebody asked me at Halloween, so do Catholics celebrate Halloween? I was like, we're not Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah, come on. So, anyway, and then the other part of that quote was the unwelcoming part. Unwelcoming. So, not only had she not been... To non-Catholics, yeah. So, not only had she not been pursued... Do you know this is a female?
No.
Well, I think I had it maybe at the time...
An inkling
of who it might be, and so I'm projecting that on it. So he or she says that it just has always felt unwelcoming, right? Mm-hmm. So this is us for sure. So when I was thinking about this, so mea culpa, like I'm not the best at this either, like welcoming in visitors or knowing really who is a visitor, especially if you're in a larger parish. So I'm not saying across the board, we are so terrible, you need to... but looking for those opportunities is important. Being hospitable and look like you've been, like I put here, look like you have been saved and called to mission and not called to dormition. Get it, nap? You remember the dormition of Mary? She fell asleep and then she was assumed. Dormition, she was asleep.
Stop.
That was another joke. I thought it was a good dormition, mission. Anyway. Anybody?
No.
Okay. So, you're called to mission. Like, look like it though. Don't be sitting around here like... I'm here at Mass.
I just got here. And I feel that some mornings when we go to the 7:30 Mass and we rolled out the bed at like 7.
Yeah, we were like rushing. We here. So yeah, definitely. It's not like going to happen all the time or perfectly. We're imperfect. We do things. But being on the lookout. And I also thought too.
The sign of peace, you can actually smile at somebody.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be... Wave,
throw out your hands.
Throw out your hands, and somebody looks like you're about to punch them. Whoa. Okay, easy, Bertha. I've been picking on Bertha. I don't know who she is, but she's just
bless her.
So another thing I thought about is too, with the blessing of your pastor, you don't have to go rogue, but find ministries either to lead, right, or to participate in that provide what I heard someone call shallow ends of the pool. For the uninitiated, right? So some of that I thought off the top of my head. So here in the United States, we have Catholics. I don't know about other places. Catholics returning home. Mm-hmm. So you've got people who are kind of maybe who are cradle Catholics and have kind of since fallen away from their faith or the practice of their faith. And it's kind of like a soft way of, hey, this is what's going on in the church. Mm-hmm. Remember these things. Like kind of a cool way of bringing somebody back in. And it's an automatic community, right, that you're being brought into, and there's no judgment and things like that. Alpha is another thing, right? A way of getting together with other people.
And that can be both non-Catholic and Catholic. So if you know...
Catholic version.
Yeah. If you know people that are, evangelical or Protestant, they may have done Alpha and maybe more comfortable with that kind of leeway in.
Exactly. Yeah. So some way just to connect with the faith. What do we believe in a way? I also thought about RCIA, right? So the Rite of Christian Initiation for adults. So for definitely meant for people who are becoming Catholic or interested, right, in learning the tenets of the Catholic faith to come in. Sometimes people can be overwhelmed by getting thrown into the Mass, but like we said in previous episodes, don't just shy away from taking people to Mass or like exposing them to those things. But realize too that especially if there's somebody coming from a totally different background, even if it's Christian still, some of those Catholic things could be really intimidating and could throw them for a loop. Whoa, I'm even more confused now. I'm freaked out.
I remember when we first started RCIA, we sat in the room and we had investigated a little bit. We came from a Protestant background. We were well-formed-ish in that, and we go to RCIA, and bless her, there's a woman there, and she's like, I'm just really trying to figure out, like, this Bible, like, I don't really know what the books are. Like, she had never seen a Bible before, and I was like, whoa.
Really, yeah.
I mean, we live in the Bible Belt, like, you ain't seen one of them before, but that showed me, though, that
we need places like that.
Yeah, it's a good place to ask those questions, and maybe you're a little bit more advanced than that, but Maybe you're not. And that's a good place to say, I got this Bible. I think the Lord wants me. Don't know what else. Hey, come and ask the question, you know?
Exactly. So, anyhow, folks, so this has kind of been our introduction to this recurring series. What we're going to do is, like I said, we said at the top, we're going to be looking through these more open-ended responses. Some people have provided some very open and honest either critiques of the church, questions about the church, things that they're confused about. And what we want to do is maybe take an episode and address one or two of those per episode. And if you know of, maybe you've been stumped by a non-Catholic, either Christian or just a non-Catholic, who has a question or criticism about the church, and you've always thought, I've never had a good answer for that, send us a message. Ask us so that we can reflect on that and put it together in an episode. Because I think this is so very important that we don't just, again, leave it for somebody smarter. They'll take care of it. They can do it. I don't have to.
Yeah.
So that's what we'll be doing in the upcoming weeks. Reach out to us if you have anything. But until next time, we'll see you back here on
The Baptist Catholic Show.